The Gordie Howe International Bridge is one of the most impressive infrastructure projects in North America. Spanning the Detroit River, this bridge, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, is one of the most impressive infrastructure projects in the country. And it's transforming the way people travel, trade, and connect between Canada and the U.S. Let's go ahead and take a look inside this amazing project. Before this bridge, the Ambassador Bridge was the main link between Windsor, Ontario, and Detroit, Michigan. Crossing the Detroit River was not easy back then. It's a wide, deep river that was great for boats, but not so much for people. In the early days, trains had to use ferries to get across, which was far from convenient. Things changed in 1929 with the completion of the Ambassador Bridge. At that time, cars were becoming more common, especially around Detroit. The Ambassador Bridge made it easier for both people and goods to move between Canada and the U.S. This was especially important for industries like automotive manufacturing, where parts had to move freely between Michigan and Ontario. Every day, over 10,000 vehicles cross the Ambassador Bridge, carrying around $400 million worth of goods between the two countries. But with around 9 million vehicles using the bridge every year, the traffic's gotten a bit overwhelming. The situation became even more critical in 22 when blockades prevented trucks from crossing, leading to chaos and highlighting the risks of relying on just one bridge. Manuel Marone, the owner of the Ambassador Bridge, was not thrilled when plans for the Gordie Howe Bridge emerged. He wasn't interested in competition and even went as far as suing the government to stop the project. Instead of a new bridge, he's suggesting adding another span to his existing bridge. Critics argue that this suggestion was not about improving infrastructure, but rather about protecting his profits from tax-free gas sales. However, Marone's idea of adding a new span below the old bridge was not ideal. It posed safety risks and could have caused problems if nearby roads needed to be closed. With more than $1 billion of goods crossing the border every day, businesses rely on seamless border crossings, making it important to have more options. By 2035, the new bridge is projected to generate around $240 million annually, underscoring the importance of having this additional crossing. Despite the legal battles and opposition, the Gordie Howe Bridge is moving forward. Initially proposed in the early 2000s, the project faced significant resistance from Marone, who claimed exclusivity rights to the Ambassador Bridge. However, the courts rejected these claims, allowing the project to proceed. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, a Canadian federal crown corporation, was established in 2012 to oversee the construction and management of the bridge. Environmental appeals and permits were secured in both the U.S. and Canada in the early 2010s, despite Marone's legal challenges. The Gordie Howe Bridge, designed by Eric Behrens, the chief bridge architect at ICOM, will be a cable-stayed bridge featuring two towering 722-foot-tall A-shaped bridge towers supported by 26 cable stays. It'll also have the longest main span length of any cable bridge in North America, stretching 2,800 feet with a total length of 2.5 kilometers. Despite all the hurdles, the bridge is set to become a key part of North American infrastructure. Rising 151 feet above water at its highest point, the Gordie Howe International Bridge will feature 6 lanes of automotive traffic along with a dedicated bicycle and pedestrian path on the Canadian side. The bridge will connect to an extension of Highway 401, locally known as the Route Honorable Herb Gray Parkway. This low-grade parkway, which begins at the eastern edge of the bridge, includes 6 lanes that follow the Tolba Road and Huron Church Road from a new interchange at the end of Highway 401 to the East Zero Expressway. The parkway runs west for about 2 kilometers before turning northwest along a new alignment towards the border. The Honorable Herb Parkway incorporates 300 acres of green space and over 20 kilometers of recreational trails, with 7 bridges and 2 tunnels designed to separate the trails from roads. Construction of the parkway started in 2011 was completed by 2015 at a total cost of $1 billion. However, building the parkway was not without its challenges. Concerns arose about the potential impact on the last known habitat of Butler's garter snake in Ontario. Biologists worked to relocate the snakes, including the eastern fox snake, and discovered a larger garter snake population than initially estimated. So to protect these new habitats, specially designed fences got installed along the affected portions of the East Zero Expressway. On the U.S. side, the bridge will connect to Interstate 75 with dedicated ramps, ensuring smooth traffic flow. Additionally, 3 kilometers of the roadway are going to get reconstructed. Local roads will be widened, and new pedestrian bridges will be built to improve connectivity across the highway. Noise walls will be erected along the Gordie Howe International Bridge to minimize disruption to the southwest Detroit neighborhood. The bridge's multi-use path will serve as the first legal pedestrian crossing over the Detroit River, connecting to local streets and trails on both sides. This path will also become part of the Trans-Canada Rail, integrating trail networks on both sides of the river, including the Canadian Great Lakes Waterfront Trail and American Iron Bell Trail. Best of all, the path for crossing the bridge on foot or by bicycle will be free to use. As border traffic is expected to go up from 18,500 vehicles daily to 26,500 by 2025, the bridge will ensure a smooth and efficient flow of people and goods between the U.S. and Canada. To manage this project, Transport Canada retained engineering firms Morrison Hershfield, Davis Langdon and Dean to develop comprehensive cost estimates covering the design, construction, operation, and maintenance of the right-of-way and utility relocation on the Canadian side of the crossing. Okay, let's now dive into the significant achievements of the bridge's construction. The bridge's towers, measuring 220 meters, were built to meet a demanding criterion of a 125-year service life, a benchmark we rarely see in bridge projects. Despite concerns about climate change and sustainability, experts found that the bridge's useful life had minimal cost implications. On July 1st in 2020, on Canada Day, concrete placement for the tower foundation started, culminating in 7,600 cubic meters poured over 6 months. In 2021, the focus shifted to constructing the tower legs, using innovative techniques to combat the effects of gravity, such as curved and temporary crossbeams. In July 2021, the crucial TI beam, essential for balancing horizontal forces, was successfully installed at ground level and post-tensioned. In March of 2022, the first platform element of the Canadian side was lifted. Given the corrosive climate near the Zug Island Industrial District, a durable 3-layer paint technique designed to withstand 40 years in such harsh environments was used to combat corrosion. On July 27th of 2022, the first steel anchor boxes essential for securing the bridge's cables got installed on the U.S. tower. Initially, the Gordie Howe International Bridge was projected to cost $4.4 billion, but that figure was revised to $5.7 billion, and today the cost has risen to $6.4 billion, as announced by groups overseeing its construction. The bridge is now anticipated to open to vehicles in the fall of 2025, a delay from the federal government's original goal of November of this year. The increased cost and extended timeline reflect challenges faced during construction, including disruptions caused by the pandemic, and recognizing these challenges, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority, which manages the project on the behalf of the federal government, and consortium of contractors, Bridging North America (BNA), have mutually agreed to the project's cost and schedule. Despite these setbacks, this extended schedule has allowed for a more thoughtful approach to community improvements and has supported the local economy, with 11 million hours of work already invested and more to come. The delay is seen as a positive contributor to economic stability in the region. The next step in this project is to complete the connection between the two sides of the river. This includes installing the road platform that'll link the U.S. and Canada, along with the 216 cable stays that support the bridge. Project leaders are confident that the bridge is on track to be completed by next year. The Gordie Howe International Bridge stands as a symbol of progress, promising a host of benefits. One of the most significant is the improved traffic flow that'll cut congestion and delays, ushering in a new era of seamless travel. But the bridge's impact goes beyond just logistics. It's a catalyst for economic revitalization on both sides of the border, creating jobs and encouraging cross-border trade. By breathing new life into local economies, the bridge fosters growth and prosperity in the communities it touches. As goods and services flow more freely, businesses can thrive, sharpen their competitive edge, and explore new opportunities in untapped markets. Perhaps the deepest significance of the bridge lies in its symbolic power. It embodies the enduring bond between Canada and the United States, showcasing the fruits of collaboration of shared values. We're committed to releasing 2 videos a week. Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. Be sure to hit that bell icon for more visionary builds.